Welcome everyone to the raw and uncut version of, I think, probably our most exciting tips and techniques for differentiating yourself in sales. Go Shawn, tell us.
If you need an edge, you need to plant your butt right here and watch this entire video. Dianna and I are talking about something super exciting and super cutting edge in sales. Yeah, a couple people have been doing it, but I guarantee you, your competitors are not doing it and not doing it well. Be the first here to use video. We want to show you, we've got tips, tricks, examples of how video has helped us and helped our clients shorten the sales cycle and differentiate from the competition. So stick around and watch this raw and uncut version of the SellOut show.
Here we go. Are we recording?
We're recording now.
All right. Well, let's just jump right in because I really love the topic that we're going to be talking about today. And I truly think that there should be some sponsorship people listening because we're doing some creative stuff here.
Ooh,
anyway,
baby,
okay, so I'll kick us off and I'll say, welcome everyone. Welcome to the SellOut show where we are always sold out. I am Dianna Guerin and I am the irreverent sales girl where my mission is to bring a dash of dignity to the art of selling.
Hi, Dianna. Hi, everyone. Oh, gosh, I'm so excited about today's topic.
I know.
Literally bouncing my seat. I'm Shawn Sandy, Chief Revenue Officer of the Selling Agency, where we coach humans. I have to say humans now because that's what my daughter says it. We coach humans how to sell to other humans. Because if you are training and selling only like a sprinter, you are going to run out of gas because sales is a long race.
Sales is the long game. That's exactly right. So what is it that we have in store for people today, Shawn?
Okay. Today we're going to talk more about using video in your sales process. Dianna, what do you call it? The visual?
It's the visual economy of sales. And why I call it that is because using visuals puts more money in your pocket.
Yes. So I am seeing more and more opportunity to use video in the sales process. And I want to talk to you. Yesterday I had a fantastic sales call with four or five of one of my sales teams. And last week we had introduced some new ideas of how to use video, and immediately, and this is the beauty of it, like they're using Zoom. I mean, you and I use Zoom. We love Zoom. The basic Zoom account is free, people. It's free. If you're not using free stuff and leveraging all the amazing free stuff out there, one, you're silly. But yeah, they're using it and seeing immediate results. It is so exciting. So that's what I want to talk about today.
Well, I think that's great. And I think what's really cool is that Zoom lets you use the tool for free. And then when it's time, your company's like, totally, oh yeah, we've got to upgrade. You've already proven you get the return on investment before you invest. So yeah, well, I love talking about video. I mean, our whole show is video. We can't seem to get a podcast on iTunes, but we can get video going. So yeah, I think it's great. So tell me, what are your sellers seeing and how are they getting creative? I have some really great ideas about how I've been using prospecting and actually shortening the sales cycle with video. So I'm ready to go.
That's the big key. There's two big keys as to why I had them start doing this. One is to shorten the sales cycle, but two, it's also because it's a differentiator. Literally, I would even go say it's a game changer differentiator because no one else is, none of their competitors are doing it. I will tell you that the biggest complaint I get from anyone when I talk about video is that no one wants to see themselves or hear themselves on video. I mean, I've obviously never had.
You and I do not have this issue.
No, but that's just what that's the first thing that people think. And the second thing is people think, oh my gosh, well, I don't have the right equipment or I don't have the right setup. I don't know how to edit things. And we are so far past that. Crap, look at our show. People love the raw and uncut versions. Like they love the nuance and the real, I think it's really like the real stuff, right? Like, the bloopers, the occasional curse words and,
hair fixing.
Exactly. Yeah. But anyway, so, I think there's an authenticity to stuff that's not overproduced. And
I agree with you.
Yeah. And like, it's not fake. Right. So it's a game changer because if you feel that way, like, oh, I don't want to see myself on video, I don't want to hear myself, whatever, everybody else says too. Put on your big girl pants or your big boy pants and do it anyway. Right.
Yeah.
So it's a differentiator and a game changer because no one else is doing it. And then, the real money comes in that it is truly shortening the sales cycle in some instances. And I'll give you this example. So one of my clients, they have a food music venue. It's, BB King's, Beale Street Blues Company. They're in different locations. And so they have clients from out of town going to these destinations, and many of them do site visits, but some of them don't. But what if, you said, hey, why don't I give you a tour of the location? Instead of this really, nice, finely produced video of our venue, well, it's so perfectly staged. Let me get my phone out and actually show you. Oh, hey, there's a great band tonight. One, I took a clip of it, and I'm going to send them a clip of it. But the other piece of it is getting people live in that moment is such a huge, huge win. They are loving it. They're absolutely loving it.
I think that is so exciting. So they kind of walk them around the room and show them the venue just exactly the way that it is right then.
Yeah. I mean, they're doing it that way. We talked about this yesterday is, there's a lot of phone tag,
Sure.
This is a different industry, because they're getting so many inbound leads.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's nice.
Yeah, exactly. They get dozens, if not, 100 inbound leads in the week, and they spend a lot of time pre-qualifying. And then, we're trying to figure out, well, how do we, make sure we're quick to respond, but also, we know we can pre-qualify and get a good lead stuff. Well, and a lot of stuff is happening as they're getting, a lot of this back and forth communication, except, this past week I had one of them, she's like, I said, okay, great. Let's meet at this time, and I'll send you a link for a video, and I'll show you X, Y, Z. They're going to be on that call. They've agreed to meet. It's almost like agreeing to meet in person.
Yeah.
Instead of all that back and forth, I call you, leave a voicemail. You call me, leave a voicemail. So it can cut down on a lot of that because it's almost like agreeing to meet in a specific, time and place. That's that live video piece of it. And then, the other piece of it too is, instead of, I'm going to send you a menu, I'm going to send you a proposal, I'm going to send you a contract, read the contract, and then we can have a call about it. It's getting people on the call sooner by saying, hey, I sent you a contract. Let's make a time to meet tomorrow at 2 p.m. and we'll go over it live and share the document via the screen.
Yeah.
Hugely different. And then there's also let's record our call. Let's record the venue because, you've got 3 other people who need to make a decision and weigh in on this. Now you have something to show them.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that is so smart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, here's a little video that you can share.
Yes. Instead of saying, here's our company brochure, or here's our really beautifully produced, documentary about our venue, about our location, about our product.
Right.
This is live and in the moment, and there's no ahs behind the curtain, and it's also made just for you. So, like for instance, Zoom, you have the output of a MP4, and then they also give you an MP3, whatever.
Right.
I mean, there's so many different benefits to, especially that live video, but creating recordings, doing snippets, but meeting live in person, going through the contracts and stuff, screen share, it can collapse a lot of that sales process.
I just love it. I mean, this idea of these clips that you can then share with the other decision makers, and you don't have to track everybody down. And I don't know what it is, Shawn. I'm not a brain surgeon, and I'm not a neuroscientist. as much as most people think that I am.
I've mistaken you for a neurosurgeon several times.
I know. But I get more of a rush. I get more of a connection. I get a better feeling when I open up an email that has a picture in it or a video, or text is like so over. Do you know, like, I don't want to read your long email, but I'm kind of interested in seeing like what you're about. And that's so cool. I think that's great. I hadn't thought of the snippets. I mean, one of the guests that we're going to have on in a couple weeks is one of the leading sales development reps at Vidyard. He's at Inbound, so he couldn't be there today. he went to like a big conference instead of being with us. It was hard to imagine. But anyway, you know, kudos to him that he got to go do that. But he's going to come on and he's going to talk to us about doing cold outreach that's really effective using the free video tool from Vidyard. I've been really effective. Talk about speeding up a sales cycle. I've been really effective at just creating a little video after I meet with somebody on the phone for the first time saying thank you. And then all of a sudden, I mean, I don't have a huge set of data to like sort of back this up, but I have not seen contracts go this fast. It's almost like, yeah, it's almost like you really get a sense of like who the person is, and it's almost as good as being in person, but then you don't have to travel and you don't have to wear pants.
Look, we can prove that we're both wearing pants. I'm wearing pants.
I'm wearing pants. I'm wearing pants. Yoga pants, but I'm wearing pants.
Puma shoes. Look, these are
I love those. Those are so good.
Badass.
So good. I've got my bare feet. Oh, you can't see it.
All right. Yeah. So and I think that one of the ways talking again, I'm going to use this specific seller yesterday who told me, she said, when I got on the video with this woman and she saw my face, her face lit up and I just knew, like, I knew I had her. I knew I had her. So there's really something to being able to like look into someone's soul and see their face. And I think that you can also, especially, you know, using video static, I don't know if you call it static or, but in that moment and getting on these live calls with people too, I think that you can pick up those little teeny tiny buying triggers and buying signals like you would when you're in person, right?
Right.
And that is, man, that's so much more effective than trading emails or even the phone. Phone is great, but you don't get that nuance and that, you know, when you're talking to someone,
right.
you know immediately when you're losing them or when something doesn't sit with them or they didn't like something, or most importantly, you can see them when they light up about something, you know, it just makes a huge difference. And you are shortening that sales time because you're building trust, credibility, like so much faster than email, phone, email. But, you know, you could be 5 or 6 communication exchanges between phone and email before you get a glimpse of their sense of humor or, you know, look at their office behind them. Like all these little teeny tiny tells that you get from having this, you know, two-way visual versus, you know, just that, you know, it's just like that one blank screen.
I know. Well, and you know, it's really interesting too, is we've been kind of talking about, one of the conferences that we'd really like to be participating in February. But, you know, it takes a long time to have the phone be a way for you to really read somebody's cues. I mean, there's a way to be on the phone and, you know, we can talk about all of that. And I think it's really important, but, you know, a lot of millennials like let's just shortcut the whole thing and have a one-on-one conversation, because it does take a long time to be over there with somebody else through a phone when you don't, because we're visual beings for the most part, right? But let's talk, okay, so let's get some logistics done so that we can really talk to people about, you know, what is it that you need. So, you know, so from a logistical equipment standpoint, what are your people using? What do you use? Talk a little bit about what we're using here.
They're using a phone. You know, I mean, Zoom has a fantastic phone app. And that's really all you need. You know, you can use Skype too. I think I like the record feature of Zoom because and again, you need to tell people or set it up to prop it up to say, you know, let's go through the proposal. And here, you know, I know that if there are other people who you need to relate this to, I'm going to hit record. So, you know, and then I'll send you this video afterwards so you can share it with other people, or you can go back and look at these details with other people. I know how cumbersome it can get to explain things, you know, 5 times to other people. You can send them a video link.
Again, and on your phone, can you share a document in the app on Zoom?
I don't know. I haven't tested that one. We need to test that out.
We need to test that out. Hey, Zoom.
Yeah, we need to test.
Come give us a tutorial.
Sure. You know, and you know, you can set up schedule meetings and set up links. There's so many different things. Just play with it. That's what I had these folks do. Is just play with it to start with and figure it out. It's not hard. If we can do it, you can do it.
We should put together a little infographic and chat. This could be fun, the little infographic checklist for video, because I think, like, I use a Logitech $20 webcam, because the webcam on my computer isn't that great.
Right.
But the Logitech is perfect. I mean, that's what we're using for this show. That's what we used on the Will Barron podcast that got 8,000 downloads in the first few hours. I was so excited.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, not views on YouTube. He's most popular as a podcast because it's easier to listen to long episodes. But anyway, so but let's talk about some do's and don'ts, because I think that I don't care. I mean, if everybody's using video, there are still ways for you to differentiate yourself. There are some things that I want people to start thinking about as they do their videos. So I'd like to do some do's and don'ts, but I'd also like to hit a little bit of differentiating ideas that can actually propel you in your customer's mind, even if everybody else is using video with them.
Right. I agree.
So, what's a do? What's a don't?
Okay, so do prepare. I mean, just like you would for a phone call, you wouldn't get on the phone. Well, maybe you would. You're not going to now, but no. You do need to prepare. You need to figure out, what, just like any other meeting, why are we on this call? What is our objective? What are the points we want to hit? What's our next step, action step? How do we wrap it up? What are we going to do afterwards? So just like any in-person meeting or phone call, you do need to prepare so that you don't get there and ramble and have any awkward silence and stuff. The nice thing about video is it actually sort of, I think, absorbs some of that awkwardness that can be over the phone. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you have the visual cues to talk to other people, you're not stepping on each other. Oh, sorry, you go, there's not a lot of that awkwardness, whereas you can kind of pick up the visual and verbal cues from people a lot easier, but you do have to prepare. So don't ramble, prepare.
I agree with that one.
Give me a do and a don't from you.
Do be the first one online.
Yes. Arrive early.
Yeah. And I mean, that goes for every single dingle meeting of your life, but you be there first, because, never rely on technology. Something will happen. Something will go wrong, but you've got to be there 5 minutes ahead of time. Yeah. 5 minutes ahead of time. You should be first. If you're not the first on the call, then, wow. Just wow. That's the do. Yeah. The don't is don't be looking down into your screen with earbuds hanging off of your face and nostril hairs showing. It's just nobody wants to look up your nose. Well, they're talking to you about sales. You just don't. If you have your phone up here is, a good idea. Yeah.
If you don't know this, the most flattering angle for anyone is with your phone slightly above you. Okay. Just that's selfie kit. Etiquette, selfie kit. Yes. Well, and the other thing I want to say about being on there early is if you've got someone who's not familiar with this particular technology, the last thing you want to do is say, oh, we're going to try this great new thing. And they're sitting there wondering if they're doing it right. Do I have the right link? Did I do the right thing? So you want to get there early. And that actually expands upon something that I've done this with LinkedIn. I've done this with Canva. I've done this with Zoom. I've done this with Edgar. If this is new and awesome and you're introducing it to someone, help them understand how they can use it to be better in their job too. And they will love you freaking forever. Love you freaking forever. Good. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Being a tool and resource sharer. I mean, talk about ingratiating yourself into someone, whatever their position is, whatever they're trying to accomplish, whether it's, B2B, B2C or whatever, you can use video to say, oh, isn't this awesome? Look how we can record this. Let me show them and figure out how they can use this to be better in their job too. If they think it's cool, run with it and they will love you forever.
I think that's great. The other thing is, if you're going to be working with somebody that's kind of they're kind of uncomfortable with the technology, they haven't used it before, and maybe they're looping in a boss. I always am like, hey, do you have 5 or 10 minutes tomorrow that we can practice? Just practice getting on the line, practice having them determine which camera is being used. I mean, not that it's even hard, because it's super, super simple, but it always makes your contact person feel tons more comfortable. And then if something happens with their boss that they're having a hard time getting on, then they kind of know how to walk through getting them online, and they can own the process with their own company, as opposed to because I will tell you what, I do not care if it is the technology's fault that you haven't started talking for 10 minutes into the sales conversation. They will associate that bad experience with your products and service. They just will, even if it wasn't yours.
Such a good point. Yeah. I think, let's see, I'm going to give you another do.
Another do.
Do record tons of customized, specialized videos for people. It does not take much to make people feel really special. A customized video to this specific audience, to introduce yourself, to say happy birthday to someone. It does not take much to make people feel special via video. I like to do it when I'm going to meet a new group or go speak someplace. I'll record a video to them, specifically to them.
Oh, that is, Shawn, that is so good.
What does it cost you? Nothing. It gives people a preview of what to expect. I will tell you, anywhere I go where I record a pre-video and speak, people want to come to my session and they feel like they already know me. I like to drop them some personal nuggets about me and then what they're going to expect or what they can expect in this session to get out of it. And then invite them to come and give them some experience or whatever. But and then they follow me on Twitter and then they follow me on LinkedIn, because it's like you're collapsing the time it takes to get to know people when you do that. I'm talking about using that for conferences and speaking engagements and stuff, but that's the same thing of like, if you're going to go travel and finally meet a company and propose a pitch or whatever to them, make a video ahead of time, introduce yourself. And, hey, I'm coming to Boston to see you, Jerry and Larry and Mo, to talk about whatever. But, of course, the most important thing I want to know is, where do I go for a lobster roll?
Right. Oh, that's so good.
Yeah. So it's, oh my gosh, there's just so much to this. We would love to, of course, to get how anyone else is using video and get that rolling in either comments or write us, tweet us, whatever. But I think that there's so much more we haven't even thought of that you can do with this.
Well, and the other thing that's really powerful is look into the camera. Yeah. Especially while they're talking, you're going to want to kind of, look at them as they're talking. And I think you can get some visual cues. What I like to do is sort of position their picture right below the camera, so that even if I'm looking at their picture, it looks like, but I had this guy that we're going to do business with, that we weren't going to do business. I am convinced that we were not going to do business unless we'd had this kind of conversation. Really? But he called me after the meeting with him and his boss, and he said, the entire time that we were talking to you, I had the experience that you were like actually looking at me and smiling right at me. And there was just all this like peace and confidence. And he's like, it just gave us so much, just confidence that we could do business with you, just because I felt like you were looking right at me and smile. And he actually brought it up, but that doesn't happen when you're like looking all over here and looking at the screen. Look into the camera, smile, like as if the camera is the other person, because that's how they're going to feel about it.
Well, that brings up another point, and certainly another benefit to doing this is that if you're emailing someone, if you're on the phone with someone, you don't know that you actually have their attention and they're not, what is it called? Phubbing, right?
Phubbing. Being snubbed with someone's device, their phone. Phone snubbing, phubbing.
Yep. We should link back to that video. You need to see a previous video about that.
We need to link that. That's true.
About phubbing.
All right, so let's talk about, I've got some really cool ways about differentiating when you're using video.
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay, so even if everyone else in the whole entire world is using video, you can be smarter than they are and do some of these little tricks that will make you way better than anybody. So the first thing is always be really, do a test with yourself before you get on and see what's in your background.
Yes.
Right? So not to, obviously to avoid anything embarrassing, But it's a funny story about that with Trish Bertuzzi. But anyway, did I tell you? She recorded that video, and in the background there was a sign that said, "Oh, I'm sorry. Did you think I cared?" or something. I didn't mean to imply that I cared. Anyway, funny sign. But she's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe that was back there." But it's so her brand that it was perfect. Right. Anyway, so take a look at what's in your background. And there's some cool things that you can do with your background, right? Mm-hmm. So one thing that I really love to do when I'm talking to a prospect, maybe they have a book or they have a product or something that I can get a hold of. I like to put it behind my shoulder on the desk behind me. And it takes a few minutes. Sometimes they're like, "Oh my God, that's my book back there." You know?
Yes.
I did that with Lee Bartlett, the #1 bestseller for the Will Barron, video, and he loved it. But also your background it's an opportunity to express your brand, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, for me, I think it's kind of fun. And, Bob Perkins, the AISP president, really dug that, I have this Led Zeppelin strat in the background. So it's a way for you to just, have a picture of your dogs or have your kids or have your, Ninja Turtle instead in the background as something that's just kind of, maybe they don't even notice, but it's an opportunity to sort of express your brand.
Yeah. Not distracting, but interesting. Mm-hmm. I love it. I think that's great. It's subtly reinforcing whatever it is they think about you in a very subtle way. I like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, those are the things that I really love about video, because you can you have the opportunity, even better than going to their office. You have the opportunity to really set the stage of what your prospects' experience of you is going to be. It's so very, very clever.
So true. We love video. I am so jazzed. I mean, we've talked about it a couple of times, but to listen to my sellers yesterday, to talk about how quickly they implemented it and how effective it was immediately. I am just floored. I am floored, and I need to find more people to introduce this to.
Yeah, and both of the deals that I closed 2 this month, they went super fast. As soon as I sent that, I think it sped everything way up. And also we got those deals for full price, which, it's hard to slam somebody to get a discount if they've had a face-to-face connection with you.
Exactly.
It's hard for them to come at you and be like, when, you're just a kind little helpful bunny on the video. Why would you run me over with a requested discount? All right. Well, that's pretty much what I got. You got something else?
No, I am. I'm just thrilled. I want to hear from people who haven't tried it and are now trying it. I want to hear from people who've been successful using video. I think it's a gold mine of ways to shorten the sales cycle, differentiate yourself. And I mean, let's just be honest. It's so much harder to get a hold of people now. Yeah. And you cannot afford that back and forth. The time it takes for between emails and phone, you may have left the door. I mean, that's like leaving the door open possibly for someone else to walk through it. Right.
Right. Which you do not want that.
You can shorten that sales cycle. And then the other thing too is that, like, I'm going to add one more tip too. Make stuff that's shareable.
Right.
Stuff that's shareable throughout that person's organization. So, whether it's humorous or clever or really, really helpful or interesting, keep it brief, but make stuff that's shareable, because the more people that see your face, the more people who know who you are, the more you are anchored within that prospect's organization.
Yeah, but I will tell you, there's something that's really starting to annoy me with the ways people are using video, especially this new LinkedIn, video tool that a select few have received,
Mm.
including our very dear friend Phil Gerbyshak. But here's what is so annoying. Don't do this. Don't ever do it. Out of the gate, you've already heard it from me. It is not about you.
Right.
Do not play the look at me game. It's such, ugh. Do you know what I mean? Anytime that you record a video, it's an opportunity for you to look into that person's soul and tell them that you understand what they're dealing with, what they're about. The only reason that your face is on the video is so that they can see that you really actually understand what they're about. And do not play the look at me game, because you will turn everybody off and they will want to throw darts at you.
The mic drop, like that's. I'm no BlackBerry from the last episode.
BlackBerry drop.
Diana's dropping BlackBerry. Awesome. I think that's a great place to wrap this sucker up.
Let's wrap her up. So I will say, stop hoping.
Oh my God, and start selling.
That's right, everybody. Bye.
Bye.